So ARG just happened, and Stellar Knights won. It's not so much of a big deal, but this is a perfect example of how economics work in Yu-Gi-Oh! So Stellar Knights won, but before that, everybody was just trying to grab all the Shaddoll stuff. Shaddoll stuff was not expensive. Yeah, it's pretty much expensive. It's just that it was a little bit easier to get than things like Stellar Knights and the Yin Yangs, Ying Zangs, whatever they are. But in the aftermath of ARG, all of a sudden Deneb is now $40 and everything else just kind of went up in price. Now, I mean, would this have happened if the deck didn't win? Maybe, maybe not. Because you got to look at the top decks that topped, and I think there were a couple of Shaddolls, and because Shaddolls are a little bit easier to get and a little bit more accessible since a lot of things got printed, like rares and such, and only the boss monsters and some of the other cards are actually hollows. It was a little bit easier to have Shaddolls more represented than something like Stellar Knights, which were more hollows, or the Ying Zangs, because they're pretty much all hollows and secrets. But this is a perfect example of how what people expect to happen, and then when something unexpected happens, all of a sudden something that was $20 before is now 40, 50. So it just goes to show. The reason I bring this up is because there's been all these leaks going about these new cards coming out in the Mega Tins. People are upset, but it was to be expected. See, there's this running pattern in the game where after a certain amount of time, something will get reprinted. Some things take longer to reprint than others. People are sitting there saying, finally, Dragosat got reprinted. And then you got other people saying, what the hell, I just got my Exciton Knight. I think the best piece of advice I could give is, if you don't get something like Exciton within the first 2 months after the set has dropped, unless you absolutely need the extra deck card to actually play competitively, like Exciton and 101 were, if you ran any type of rank 4 XYZ build or something that we're going to rank 4s, you pretty much needed those to play competitively because so many other people were running them and they were just so good. But to have picked them up, like if you picked them up within the last month or so, and you just picked it up just to have it to beat your friends, okay. But me, I had mine. I had an Exciton and a 101, and I actually had a bunch of extra deck stuff, but I ended up selling all of it. I ended up selling everything. Like I said, I prestiged in Yu-Gi-Oh! And lo and behold, like 2 weeks later, all the stuff I pretty much sold got reprinted. So Exciton and 101, stuff like that, from the looks of it, I'm going to get back. All the Bujin stuff that I sold, I'm going to get back. And on top of that, all the Synchros that I sold, I know I'm going to get back because the 5D's Legendary Collection is coming out. So it's pretty much, you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And with Yu-Gi-Oh!, most of the time you got to fold them and sell them fast. The best times to sell your stuff is immediately after a sneak peek. If you get something during sneak peek, it doesn't matter if it's going for 80, you sell it for 60, because from outside of the extreme cases, like when Tour Guide came out, because I remember Tour Guide came out, it was 40, and then it jumped to 150 because nobody saw the rulings they were going to have before they changed them back. Outside of that, everything will drop back down to a price. And the people that want to make sure they get them, that's on them. And that's nothing against anyone. If you want to spend money and get something on sneak peek because you want it, and you want to make sure you have it, that's fine. Because sometimes a card will be cheap, but it just won't be accessible. Like, you won't be able to find it, or people won't be selling it. So it all comes down to the person. But as far as cards right now, like Shaddolls, and the fact that Stellar Knights won, you see prices fluctuate. And right now they're fluctuating a lot. It's always around this time of year, right before the holidays, where Konami likes to put out these special, like, promotional packs or tins because it's the holiday season and people want cards. This is around the time where you see a lot of things getting reprinted. The question always is, what exactly is getting reprinted and how easy are they going to be to get? So that's my take on the whole post-ARG, more the actual price side of it. And I'm gonna keep trying to put out little videos like this when I get a chance within the next couple weeks leading up to when I move upstate. But I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope it makes you guys think a little bit about what you should do in the future when you're trying to, if you're trying to sell cards, or if you're trying to pick up cards and such. And the last thing I'll leave you with is, even though things are getting reprinted, always remember that as time goes on, cards will go back up to a decent price even if after they've been reprinted, just because of the fact that, as I shake the fucking camera, just because of the fact that you have high rarity, like you have people that want the highest rarity, the original prints, like those Exciton Knights, the fact that their thing is going to be in the middle as opposed to being on the bottom, those will probably go back up in price, and it'll be like, oh, you know, this is original. So if you still have them, you might as well keep them and keep playing with them, and then put them away and wait till they go back up in price, because some people actually value originals more. So I hope this was informative. I hope this was useful to you, and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I hope to hear back from you guys, and keep posting, and I'll try to put up more stuff like this. Peace out.